Hello again. My name is Alex Katsaros. I'm the CEO of TopFX. This is a presentation about the 7 most common mistakes startup brokerages make and how to overcome them. Let's talk about how it will help your startup. In this presentation, we're going to go through a journey and get into the mindset of an entrepreneur looking to launch his own startup brokerage, even if it is a CFD brokerage or it is a crypto exchange or anything else. At TopFX, we've been working with startups for a long time now. We've been 10 years in this business, and our main business is B2B solutions for startups and established brokers. So we have a lot of experience about what we're getting right and what they're getting wrong. Let's move on to first mistake. These mistakes are going to be presented in a kind of a chronological order. We're going to take this journey, like I said, and this first one is before the startup even starts. So we're talking about not differentiating their brand. Most of them, what do they do when they want to start their own brokerage? They think of, okay, I want to get into the CFD space. There is money involved. Why not? Just think of a name that has effects in it or a name that has markets in it. Then they think of how am I going to promote my product? I will just use bonuses or I will just use something else. And the result is most of our startup clients and in general most CFD brokers look exactly the same. There is no differentiation. There is no reason to pick one from the other. And this is a problem with the industry. It's pretty much oversaturated. The solution that we suggest to our clients is to get in the correct frame of mind before they even start their startup. To get in the correct frame of mind is not that difficult. All you have to do is answer 4 basic questions. Question one, what makes your brand unique? Some product, some mix of products, some solution. Question 2 is, what is your target audience? It's very often that startups that get into this space don't even know the mentality of traders. They don't know the target audience. They don't know, are they looking for experienced traders? Are they looking for new traders? Are they looking for algorithmic, all this stuff? All these different personas need different content and different targeting. What is your value proposition? You need to be able to communicate your proposal in a simple way. And how should you price to attract your audience? Depending on what you're targeting at, you need to think of how much commissions you're going to charge, because pricing should not just be arbitrary. Before we move on, we follow our own advice. So I would like to talk to you a bit about our product and why our product fits those criteria. Our product, the main product that we're selling in TopFX now, is called the all-in-one broker solution. The reason we call it like that is because it's a complete one-step shop where you're going to get everything you need to launch your brokerage startup. And I really mean everything. You're going to get from us liquidity. You're going to get a situated platform. You're going to get backend and hosting. We're going to make a website for you. We're going to introduce you to people who are going to create the company for you. You're going to get payment processors from us. You're going to get a cashier solution from us. You're going to get everything. Now, I like this as a case study because we talked about differentiation before and why it is important. This product is unique to TopFX. You cannot find it anywhere else in the world. We have exclusivity of giving CTrader out. Then we talked about, besides differentiation, about targeting. This product is targeting both startups and established brokers. And we have different targeting because you can modify the product to get as many add-ons as you need. The product is priced very efficiently. And lastly, there is a very clear value proposition for this product. It's very simple. All-in-one broker solution. You want to start a brokerage, you come to TopFX, get everything, you're done, you're ready in a week or 2 or a month, you're launched. Let's move on now to the next mistake, mimicking established brokers as an acquisition strategy. This is the actual mistake, and what do I mean by that? Our clients usually ask us, I saw broker X or exchange Y have a banner on this website, and I contacted the website. It's very expensive. It requires all of my marketing budget. How much am I going to get? Should I get the banner? How many clients am I going to get? And all this stuff. Clearly, the problem there is they're trying to just mimic what they see around them, without having an actual marketing plan and without understanding that the established brokers that they see doesn't just work on one banner. They have a whole plan and a whole marketing team to support it. So the solution we're suggesting to our clients is, first of all, you need to have a marketing plan. And we advise them to tune this marketing plan depending on their audience and their budget. We can see here on the first column, a startup with a smaller budget. A startup with a smaller budget should just focus on a single country. There are very big advantages when focusing on a single country. You don't have to spend money on translations. You can get into the culture of the country. You can have presence in the country because you're just going to go to a couple of expos and people know you. And most channels that we're suggesting for startups with smaller funding is go to expos, establish your brand in that country, work with IBs, find all the IBs in the country, have a sales team that is going to get into the culture and build relationships with the people, and provide great support in the local language. Whereas if your brokerage has more funds to start with, then you can definitely focus more globally on more than one country. You can add digital marketing to your mix. Digital marketing is not simple. It requires a big team. It requires a lot of statistics, a lot of analytics. It requires knowledge of many channels. And most importantly, even if you go the growth hacking way and you find a model that works, you need to put a lot of money to scale that model in the end. Lastly, if you have a lot of money to spare, sponsorships have been working well in this particular industry. Now, still, an entrepreneur hasn't started his startup and he's still making mistakes. Now we're going to the third mistake, again before you start your brokerage, choosing the wrong jurisdiction. With the new ESMA measurements that took place in 2019, we saw especially the CFD space was hit very much because we had the reduction of leverage to a maximum of 30. To be honest, we were expecting that outflows are going to happen to offshore jurisdictions from Europe. The brokers in Europe did try. They tried to keep European traders in their brokerage. However, what we saw clearly surpassed global expectations. The clients sent ultimatums to brokers telling them, look, I need a solution, I need higher leverage, or I'm gone. So eventually, we came into today's standard, which is the grouped structure. When you combine a bunch of jurisdictions in order to be able to cater with high leverage for most of your clients. These jurisdictions change frequently, so it's not like this is a correct one, this is a wrong one. It's not like that, but as an indication, usually brokerages who have bigger funds, they go for FCA combined with Cayman Islands or Bahamas, which require a lot of money to start. Brokerages who are looking for an equally good solution, a bit cheaper, they're going with Cyprus combined with Seychelles or Mauritius. And unfortunately, I would not recommend anymore to run an unregulated brokerage. It's not as easy as it was like 10 years ago because practically you will not find any banking partners. We continue our journey now in a more practical way. You start your company and you see all this terminology that you don't understand. This is understandable. The CFD space is quite complicated, and I'm sure the crypto space is quite complicated. And you have, your reporting that you have to do, you have reconciliations to do, you have PSPs, you have cashiers and aggregations, and you don't understand what's happening. Obviously, what we suggest to our clients is to take the time to understand CFD brokerage infrastructure, how it works. And because we understood that it's quite difficult for them to even understand the infrastructure, we understood how difficult it is for them to actually build it themselves, so we offer all of it in the all-in-one solution. Let me briefly go through how a CFD brokerage works, very briefly. We have the trading part of the infrastructure. Liquidity Stream is your liquidity provider, streams prices through the trade server of your platform, with or without the bridge, depending if you're using a CTrader or another platform. The trade server of your platform is where your client's orders are kept. Your trade server is going to decide if it's going to make your brokerage a counterparty to the trades or if it's going to offload the trades to your liquidity provider. And your trading platforms, mobile, web, desktop trader, they connect to your server, and that's a trading part of the infrastructure. Whereas the onboarding and payments part of the infrastructure, we're talking about your website. Your clients are going to end up in your website. Then they will have a client area where you will do the KYC. They will deposit in the client area. In the client area, if they get only one solution, they will also have a cashier. Cashier solution, what it does, you plug in payment processors like in a day. You don't have to do any integration. You don't have to spec resources. And also, they also can suggest payment processors to you. So in your cashier solutions, your traders are going to find the PSPs. They will deposit or your bank account. And when you want to do reconciliation to understand how much is the real money you're making, all you have to do is see the balances of your clients, your balance with your liquidity provider, and all the money you have in your PSPs and your bank accounts, and that's how reconciliation is done. So now that we've entered the part where you're actually running your brokerage, and we continue with a mistake, the most common mistake in the beginning of running your brokerage, which is ineffective brand management. A lot of startup brokers don't have money to spend on a proper website, so they start in a wrong way by outsourcing their website to some amateur web developers, which means that they will have a lot of broken links, 404 errors. They don't employ a content writer. They copy-paste content from around the web. And the result is a poor quality execution of a website. They're very slow with withdrawals. Sometimes they just harass clients a little bit. Sometimes it's just not organized enough. And the end result is still the same. The withdrawals are slow. Then we call it unfair trading practices. They rely on BBook too much, and they are too aggressive with BBooking. For those of you who don't know what BBooking is, it means when the brokerage is acting as a counterparty to the client's trades. In this day and age, if you operate like that, with this mentality, what's going to happen is when someone searches your brand, your first result is going to be that you're a scam, and you're finished before you even start. The suggestion that we offer to our clients about that is to get to a different frame of mind when they're running the startup. Go for the long run. So employ proper web designers. So you use a UX optimized website, or get the website that we offer in the all-in-one solution. It is optimized. It's not a broken website with broken links. Make sure that you treat your clients well with good support, and make sure that their withdrawals are fast so that they're not worried about their money. And treat clients fairly. If you do that, obviously, instead of being a scam, you will get brand loyalty. By getting brand loyalty, your clients are going to introduce more clients. They're going to become affiliates or ambassadors for your brand, and you're going to grow exponentially. Our broker now continues running his brokerage, and he's at the part where he has to, now that the infrastructure is set up, and now that he kind of understands what's happening, he chose the correct jurisdiction and all of that, now he needs to promote his products. And the problem is that they don't understand the products, which is also kind of justifiable because we offer so much to them that, especially if they're not from the CFD industry, if they're coming from banking or whatever, they will not understand how to promote those products. I will briefly explain the main trading products to you. We have manual trading. This is the king of trading. Manual trading means when a trader uses the order screens to send orders to the server. Most of these methods, manual trading included, cater for both advanced and professionals, as well as amateurs and newbies. I'm going to show you why, so you're going to understand why a different content is needed. Manual trader can be a guy on his bus, a millennial, going from work to home, clicking, opening a position on goal. He can also be some guy with 8 monitors, an analyst with years on experience. Automated trading, the next trading product, is about trading with algorithms. Again, it can cater for a newbie trader because he can just buy a robot from the internet, buy a robot from his IB, push play, and that's it. Or it can require a very, very experienced person who knows how to write code, knows technical analysis, knows risk management, and knows all this stuff. We have the copy trading service. Again, if a newbie trader can just follow more experienced traders and put it on plug and play, whereas experienced traders can become signal providers for this service. In platform signals, with the all-in-one solution, we're offering AutoChartist. this is where traders just follow a signal that is indicated in the platform and they open a position. Fixed API is the most advanced method of trading. This is not for newbie traders. With a fixed API, you can just build your own trading engine or plug it into your own platform and trade any way you like that is not disclosed to the broker. The last mistake of this presentation, but not least, is pretty crucial. You're running your brokerage, you have inadequate funding, and you don't have experience in risk management. Then you see that ESMA, now that they made brokers publish the results of trading of traders, you know that between 65 and 75% of traders lose money. So what do? What does a startup, inexperienced startup does? Practically what happens, they take all the risk and they get destroyed like a trading account gets destroyed. What we suggest to our clients is to choose the appropriate risk management model depending on their funding and their experience. If you have unlimited funding and you're starting your brokerage with millions and millions of backup funds, okay, you can take more risk. You can let the 65 to 75% play for you. If you have teams that are educated on risk management and understand which traders pose greater risk, so they STP those traders to the liquidity provider. Preferably, you can run the most standard mix setup, where what you do is you identify the traders that pose a higher threat, you send those flows to the liquidity provider, and you keep the, let's say, safer flow, the lower risk flow in your brokerage. This way, you're gonna launch your startup correctly. Just a closing remark, a couple of minutes to go through all the solutions offered via this presentation as a roadmap to success for launching your own startup. It's pretty simple. It's not simple actually, but it's pretty straightforward. You need to establish brand identity and differentiate, like we discussed in the beginning, have differentiated products, offer something unique to the market. It's oversaturated. Tune your marketing for your audience and your budget, and have a marketing plan. Choose the correct jurisdiction, do your research, get good advice. Know the infrastructure that we're giving you, and know the infrastructure in general so that you can provide a good product to your clients. Gain brand loyalty by having the correct frame of mind, by respecting your clients and respecting your traders so that you turn them to affiliates and brand ambassadors. And use all trading products that are given to you, and manage risk appropriately so you're going to survive. Follow these instructions and hopefully you're going to launch your startup successfully. Thank you very much for listening to me, guys. I appreciate it.